What's up, y'all? It's Blue. I'm back. I'm live streaming. And I got my microphone on, guys. I got my microphone on today. Wow. What a noob mistake that was, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. If we got anyone viewing, welcome. If we don't have anyone viewing, that's fine. I'll just vibe by myself again this morning. We got the music going. We're rocking. And we're going to look at a little bit market price action here. Let's start at the obvious spot here. I had this short set up for y'all yesterday, and it was absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. And if you go back on the Twitter, I specifically said with this price action that we had on Sunday that the main worry was a little bit of variance here, that we could sweep either way and start heading the opposite direction. And that is unfortunately exactly what we did right here, guys. So if you didn't just automatically jump back into this, or if you're not back into this, I posted some re-entry plans for here. But as a little bit of a teaching spot, let's get into how we even got into this short trade to begin with, shall we? Anyone open to that? Let's jump in. So we had a huge leg come down here, right? We had this impulsive move, okay? And off that impulsive move, we created multiple levels of imbalance, but specifically this level of imbalance up here on this 30-minute chart, guys, which left this supply candle, okay? This highlighted supply candle right here, okay? And once price action came back into supply, what I was looking for was my standard confirmation, right? Where we come up, right? You get higher highs, higher lows, coming all the way up to here. At this point, which I had marked for y'all on Twitter, this is where we got that break of structure, okay? And a few things with this. One, we got our break of structure. So now we have come back into supply, got the standard confirmation, break of structure. Now what I'm looking for is for price action to come back in to that level of supply, okay? Which is this candle right here. And that's on the 30-minute as well as on the hourly chart is where this candle really showed up right here. So on the 1 hour, it's this whole hourly candle highlighted. On the 30-minute, that's why it kind of looks like this, where you have two highlighted candles there, guys. And a couple things with this break of structure and coming back into supply, why I really liked it. One, look how fast this impulsive move down was. Look at the amount of time it took for price to make that move, okay? It took price this amount of time, okay? Look how long it took for price action to remediate that move, okay? In the matter of, 2 or 3 hours or so, right here, 3-4 hours right here, is how long this move down took. Look how long it took for it to remediate that move. That's another little edge into, another piece of confluence there, okay, coming back into supply. Came back into supply, got the entry I wanted, and but I knew Sunday it was choppy, Super Bowl Sunday even to boot. I was like, oh gosh, this is gonna put me through a bumpy ride. This is gonna put me through a bumpy ride, guys. And it did. It got a little bit wicky up here, and came back down. And now I've outlined some re-entry zones, but I mean the setup was there. The setup was perfect, right? Level of supply, off an impulsive move, come back into the level of supply, off confirmation, break of structure, again, confirm it, coming back into supply, and that's where we send price action back down. And that's essentially what I have exactly outlined for y'all here on Twitter, where we have to like really get into the nitty gritty here, like a 3-minute chart or so. And I'm looking for the same thing right here, right? If I'm gonna re-enter this right here, I'm looking for that same type of break of structure that we just outlined and talked about right here. Right? Where we come into this level of supply, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, oh, lower high, lower low, break of structure, coming back into supply. So essentially that's what I'm looking for right here, right? If you wanted to re-enter this right here and try to jump in for a continuation, it would be the same thing, right? We're looking for this to come in, mitigate the imbalance within this level of supply, which on a 15-minute, it's kind of all these candles. That's where the imbalance ends. And this has kind of put this impulsive move. I don't really like this zone. It's kind of to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can come up higher. But if these impulsive legs down, right, a lot of times you don't get optimal entries. You don't get like these great, like perfect retests to come all the way back up, right? They just kind of go without you if you don't find a good spot to get in. So that's what I would be looking for if you wanted to hop in here, right? Similar thing, right, guys? Where you come up and you have your standard confirmation, okay? Where you come up, you're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and then you come and you make that break of structure, okay? Which would then in point put you in a new range. You come back up into optimally discount, and that is where you would short from in some fashion like that and take old girl down. Take her down, okay? That's what you'd be looking for, something like that, right? This break of structure, which is fractal, right, just simply on a 3-minute time frame, is no different than this right here, right? This whole setup, yeah, it's elongated. Yeah, it's, you know, you kind of have to decipher it, you know, a little bit more. But that's the exact thing we got right here. It's the same exact thing, guys. This works on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 50 minute, the 1 week, the 1 month time frame. This is all fractal, guys. But that's essentially what we're looking for. And let me erase some of this so we don't get all crazy up in here. Crazy. And let me back it out and we'll talk a little bit about the market. We'll talk a little bit about the market, guys. You open to that? Is anyone in here? Do I have any viewers right now? I don't know. Maybe not. Let's back her out. So I talked about this on the Twitter when I was posting this, guys. But essentially, what I'm seeing here, let's pump her out to a 1 hour. Let's pump her out to a 1 hour to get a little bit bigger view here. Essentially, what I'm looking at here, guys, is that why I also really like this level, okay, is because everything above here, guys, okay, this is all clean price action until really we got up to, you know, 75-ish, 74, 75K, even a little bit higher, depending on exactly what time frame you're looking at. Yeah, I mean, not until you get up here do you have any real imbalance. Okay, so I saw this level as essentially either this level holds and pushes us back down. If this breaks, right, if this candle right here were to come up and close above here, then I would have been like, okay, we're going up to 74, 77K, shoot, maybe even higher, you know. Once we get up here, who knows what could happen, right? We start breaking through some of these levels, maybe go and hit 80K. But I essentially saw this as the line in the sand. Okay. We don't have any further imbalance until we get up here, right? This is all clean price action. Maybe just a little hair right here that this was actually taken out. I kind of maybe missed that a little bit. Let me take a little peek at that. Take a little peek at that. Yeah. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. And y'all wonder why I tell y'all that even these minute little levels of imbalance, they matter, because that is exactly what this candle just came and took out. Wada bam. It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I should have spotted that. I just spotted that literally right now. Literally right now. My own fault. Should have been able to see that. But anyways, the point being, even with that, this level, okay, it's either we hold this and we go back lower and test these levels like I'm looking to do, okay, or price was going to break above here. We get a closure, essentially now we get a closure above 71.5. She's probably going. And if that happened, then, I was like, hey, I'll flip bias, and this thing's probably going to, take us up to here. Because all of this, guys, this is all clean price action, right? There's no level of imbalance. This is what I would call clean traffic, okay? Clean traffic. Meaning there's no level of imbalance or level of supply that is going to cap price here, okay? This is just going to be a clean level for price to move through, okay? Y'all see what I mean by that? Like for here, right? Price had a level of imbalance, okay, with a level of supply for price to come into and reject from. Meaning there is sell orders here that once sent price on this large impulsive move, we come back into that level that has not been tested again. It is likely that more sell orders will be injected, and or there are resting sell orders there. Past this is all clean price action. No level of imbalance, no level of supply to cap price until we got up to here. That's a hair under 76. If you go into like 15-minute time frames, you start really whittling it down. Yeah, sure, you're gonna find little tiny levels here and there. Like this is 74, which is why I said 74 to 77K, because yeah, technically you could come up to here, and you have this level, which is actually a nice little indecision candle, and you have your level of imbalance right here that has not been mitigated. Okay. And that's why I kind of said 74 to 77K if you go look back on the Twitter post there. But essentially, we broke above here, closed. Price was going to come up at least to right here, to 74, with the possibility of coming up to 77K. And if this didn't hold, then yeah, a little bit higher is in play. We take out these equal highs right here. That's just resting liquidity. And I mean, once that happens, you just never know. You never know. You have to evaluate further price action and what that market structure looks like, which is why I was saying it's either we hold her down here, we hold old Bitcoin girl, we cap her here and send her back down, or she's gonna go, and it's working out. It's working out right now. It's unfortunate of this. Could have jumped back in if you really wanted to. Essentially, once you got the sweep, I kind of put this on Twitter. Once you got the sweep, this was almost guaranteed. It didn't guarantee downside, but you get a sweep like this above highs, okay? And that incredibly bullish action then turns into a bearish candle. Not a good look. I didn't say guaranteed it. I didn't say it guaranteed downside after that, but there was absolutely no follow through on that, right? No follow through. At minimum, you would have, you would have wanted to see that candle at least close bullish at minimum. And even this candle coming up and just like barely closing bullish still isn't even really a good look. Okay. So that huge candle coming back down and closing bearish, it's not a bullish sign that we came up and pushed through there. It's actually a bearish sign of a huge rejection, right? And I missed that level in balance. That's essentially where, the really, really good sell orders got put into place. Let's back her out a little bit more and talk about downside. Guys, in retrospect, let me pump this out to a weekly. In retrospect, guys, let me take off this big old monthly box. In retrospect, guys, I mean, I talked about this on the last live stream, but the last live stream was mainly talking to myself. Okay, but this was my second zone, where if I just would have put a sell or buy order in the heart of this zone rather than my first zone that was at 69K, would have been a good little trade ski right there. But we didn't. So Sorry, I just had to look at my mic again. I was like, I was having PTSD flashbacks. I had to make sure my mic levels were bouncing on the screen and it was actually showing volume. But essentially, guys, on the higher time frames, I talked about this level. Like this needs to be the level that we at least got the bounce off of, a relief bounce. And I would want to see a little bit more of a relief bounce than this. Like, yeah, 60 to 70 is pretty good. But in retrospect, I would like it to come up, higher and maybe clear out some of this. But that's not saying that we can't come back down here and test this level again, which is essentially what we're looking right here to do, guys. I see this level, particularly sub 60K, as cheap prices for Bitcoin, guys. You wanna buy some spot Bitcoin? Down here, some pretty good prices. Guys. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of FUD in the market. Old Jeffrey Epstein's the creator of Bitcoin. There's a lot of FUD out there. And I'm not saying that price can't come back down here and into these lower levels. I talked about this again, mainly to myself. I've kind of did a little down and dirty after, but essentially this needs to be the level. Let me go back and check what our lower time frame is before I really get into this. Just real quick. What is this doing? Real quick. Oh gosh. No, don't let me get crazy over here, guys. Do not let me get crazy over here. Yep, this is still just chilling. Nothing happening yet here. You really want to see this get into here like we talked about. Like, not even touching this. I mean, it could just like reverse here and go. But like for entry, I mean, even when you get into these lower time frames, like this 3 minute, there's more imbalance up here that needs to be cleared. When you really start refining these zones, those don't always necessarily get cleared out. They can. A lot of times they do. They don't necessarily have to, particularly like, when you have these 15-minute or 30-minute levels that are a little bit more predominant. But you would at least want to come into here, like this 15-minute chart. This 30-minute chart is not even until right here. Okay. So you pump that out to a 3-minute. See, and that comes into that 3-minute level a little bit more. You see how that kind of works, guys? But nonetheless, we're going to have the zone marked right there. And we at least want to get into that. And then we want to see that kind of structure shift, right? That's where you'd want to see that structure shift. That is where you'd have your entry. Again, that's not foolproof. You could have another little sweep ski that comes and takes that out before it does another structure shift and comes back down. But once you come into a level of supply, particularly when you have more levels of supply above it, you don't want to just limit order that. Oh, I missed that one. Let me just limit order that one. Oh, missed that one. Because then you're just stacking losses, right? You don't want to just start limiting order every single level of supply. Which is why on this one, I want to see that standard confirmation that I utilize. On this one, pretty much my thinking is that after this one, if we break here, again, same story, guys. There's a little bit of level skeet right there, which is why the stop loss is up here. But essentially after this right here, guys, after this right here, there is no other level of imbalance. There is no other level of unmitigated supply. Essentially, price gets above here, outstanding another wick ski, which is why I have the stop loss all the way up here this time. And shoot, maybe we come and wick that one again and send back down. That would suck. But essentially, I'm giving this some more room to work, right? We come back and tap into this level of supply. I'm letting it all, I would let it meander through here before coming back down again. Essentially, we come back above this. We get a closure above here again. Get a closure above that. That's where I'm thinking that, the levels that we talked about coming back up higher that's where it's going to be in play. So that's what I'm looking at here, guys. And it looks like it wants to reject a little bit right here. I'm going to look at this one more time, and then we're going to jump into the higher time frames. We're going to jump back into the higher time frame talk. It's still just chilling. This is technically still your range on the lower time frame. You could get a little structure shift here, and Could get a little structure shift. You could get a little front run there. I'm not about that life, but we'll see what happens right there. Let's jump back into the higher time frame talks, guys. I talked about this. I'm gonna go back over this whole thing that I did on the live stream because I want this on the record. On the record. It didn't get as good on the record last time because I was talking to myself. I was talking to myself the whole time. Let me grab a drink of my orange juice. That's good. That's good. All right. Here we go. This level, okay. I originally had this level marked. And I put an order at the heart of this level, which is at 69K. Right here. Essentially where we're sitting at now is where I previously had a trade. Okay. Again, I'm talking a trade. A trade. Again, to reiterate, I think 60K and sub 60K is cheap prices for some spot Bitcoin. I'm talking about a trade. I had a trade at 69K in the heart of this level. I like this level because this was the last candle that created the impulsive move out of this consolidation zone. I also have this level marked, okay? I should have utilized my second level. I should have known the first level wasn't going to be the level. It's hard. It's obviously way easier in hindsight to Monday morning quarterback that. But now looking at it, guys, this level I think needs to be the level that if we really want to see some reversal in this market, and I'm not calling bear market bottom, this is the bottom of the whole dump, whatever, I'm a crystal ball, whatever, wizard. And that's not necessarily what I'm saying here. What I am saying here is that if we want to see a relief bounce from here, a relief bounce, a relief rally in Bitcoin that's more than just going back up to 70K, okay, then this needs to be the level. And here's why. Here's why. Let's pay attention here, guys. Number one, this level here, in particular, this level, okay, this larger box on a weekly basis, on a weekly level, has multiple levels within it, okay? We have the weekly. We have the 5-day. We have the 3-dayer, okay? And we have the 1-dayer, which is this smaller highlighted box that I have, which was the heart of the zone, which, like I said, if I would have put it just on this heart of the zone, so the previous one, it would have been nice. Would have been a nice trade. Would have been buying at 61K on the trade rather than 69K on the trade. Okay. And you come back up here, you see, look, level of imbalance, level of supply, everything else above here is unmitigated until you start getting up here. Same exact thing, right? Bam. Look where price is rejecting. Same thing. This was just confluence to my lower time frame trade. Oh, smokies. Oh, smokies. Look at that. You got a closure. Yeah, old girl could be doing something right there. Old girl could be doing something right there. This was just confluence. Y'all see that? This large candle created an imbalance, came, cleared the imbalance into the level of supply that was untapped on the way down, mitigated it, and now it's coming back down. This was just confluence into my 30-minute trade, right? Let's jump back into the higher time frames, though. This is higher time frame talk right now. Why this needs to be the level. Okay, we have weekly, we have 5-day, we have 3-day, we have 1-day levels of supply, all below this level of imbalance that we have now cleared out. Okay. Yes, we do have this level down here as well. Okay. And that's not even a weekly level. I believe this is a 3-day level I have marked. This is a 3-day level. We just have an old measly 3-day level right there, which, yeah, it could still work. There is some 1-dayer, a little bit of action in there. Nearly got his app, but it didn't. So yes, this level could also cause a reaction and or be the one that comes back down here, and then we really get sent for a true kind of relief rally that maybe clears out some of these higher time frame levels of balance, right? Maybe sends us back up to over 80K, and maybe go flirt with old 85K, or go see what old 85K is up to these days. Who knows what's up to these days? We don't know. Let's go see what 85K is up to. Who knows? But my point here, guys, is that this level is really the level that has the supply in it, that is kind of the reigning predominant higher time frame level of supply within this structure. Okay, within this consolidation right here, this is the level. And really looking at it now, this is the level that kind of did produce this move. Originally, I was looking at this because, right, we hadn't broken out of this level until right here, and I was like, okay, this is the candle, this is our level imbalance. But if you kind of really look at this now, again, as a Monday morning quarterback, this level created this spike. And yes, we had this little bit of, resting period consolidation here, a couple of candles on this weekly level, but really this move was produced from here. My original thinking was here, but really was here. This level didn't really produce much. And that's just kind of my thinking right now. Again, not to say, and we're going to get into some more. This isn't it. Just stick with me, guys. Stick with me here. Stick with me here. It's not to say we couldn't come back down here and, again, utilize this level, and that's what catapults us up. But I'm about to show y'all some more confluence. Okay? But that said, just because we came and wicked down into here doesn't mean, oh, now we touch, now we can go. We absolutely could come back down in here and have to test this level again, maybe even create a little bit lower low, go into 59, and maybe we come in and touch this and just clear it out. Maybe we come and touch 50, 56, 57, and then get some real rally. If that doesn't happen and this fails, then if that fails, then yeah, I mean, there's nothing to save us. The same thing we just talked about on the lower time frames, right? Of why above this level, there's no level of imbalance, no level of unmitigated supply until we get up here. Same exact thing, just fractal on a much higher time frame. We come below here, guys, and there's no real true spot until we get down into 44K. Okay, so we lose this level, right? This level of supply, right? We come through this imbalance, and this level of supply does not hold. Should we not utilize this, then yeah, you're coming down to 44K. I mean, you're coming down here, at least on the higher time frame outlook. And let me give you all some pieces of confluence as to why that is what it is. That is what it is. Let's go to look at Old Faithful here. This is Old Faithful, the King of Kings. Let me not say that. Not King of Kings. Come on. The king of the market. Total crypto market cap. Okay. Higher time frame. 3-day. This is the last level of supply. Okay. While Bitcoin on the higher time frame had this next level, total cap does not. This is all mitigated on total cap. And a lot of times total cap reigns supreme even over Bitcoin. It's the total market. It's everything, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay. This is the last level. This is a 3-day level. And within that level, there's also, I believe, a 1-day, which I have further marked. You'll see that? Right, Schmear. Okay. But below this, as y'all can see, even on this 1-day view, this is all clean price action. It's all been mitigated. It's all balanced. Okay. There's no unmitigated imbalances or inefficiencies. No unmitigated level of supply all through here. Okay. It's here. Now, yes, we went on, well, I should say I went on a little scavenger hunt myself when my mic was muted. And yes, if you come down into like a 4-hour chart and you come on a little scabby McScavenger hunt over here and you start delving in, you can start finding some little areas. Sure. Could those do something? This is actually mitigated. Could those do something? Sure, they could. But I'm not going to be reliant on that necessarily on a higher time frame outlook, right? To be the catch, right? We have a little 4-hour in here that catches us and sends us maybe maybe that lines up with, Bitcoin coming in that one and we catch a little something down here. Sure. But I think this is just confluence that lines up, that Bitcoin utilizing this level, okay, along with total cap, this really on a higher time frame outlook, this kind of being the last level before, we came into much lower prices, which, total cap coming down here, which is the next level after this gets broken on the higher time frame outlook. This is, where this is the next level. That would line up with Bitcoin being at, around that 40, 45-ish, mid to low 40s. Okay. Another piece of confluence. Stick with me. The weekly time frame. The 200-week moving average. This is kind of a big deal to a lot of people. I'm sure if you're on the Twitters, you've seen this. The 200-week moving average that currently sits at $58,212 on this specific exchange. Okay. A lot of people like to buy at that. A lot of people see that as kind of the, the higher time frame weekly support level. And it got front run a little bit here, which I would actually say is kind of a somewhat bullish sign. Okay, I'm not going to put the whole stock into that. But price action front running this and not coming wicking below it just kind of tells me that there was enough buyers that, not only had buy orders at it, but were willing to front run it. Okay. And again, this is just another piece of confluence that says this level on Bitcoin needs to be the level. And like I'm saying, yes, sure, maybe we come down a little bit lower. And that's kind of what I'm playing for on this little short ski. Oh, hold on. Let's pause on the higher time frame. Let's delve in real quick. What's old girl doing? Okay, yeah. So you definitely got obviously a break of structure here. But what I don't like is that it didn't even come into supply. It got front run. So either this is an extremely bearish sign on these lower time frames, right? Kind of like I just said on this got front run. It's kind of bullish. If this supply gets front run and it just keeps on sitting it down, then that would just kind of confirm that this is going. I mean, it's bearish, right? It couldn't even get into supply. There was so many sellers willing to front run the supply. But I don't like that yet. I don't like that for entry. So what I'm saying is that when we get this shift right here, again, we're just putting a pause on the higher time frame talk. I'm about to go back into it. Don't worry, guys, if you're on the edge of your seat. Okay. So essentially, we got this. And now we got the break of structure. And by the standard confirmation, you would wait to come into level of supply, which is right here. This is the last unmitigated level. Everything above this is clean traffic. Okay. And you would sell from that, right? And you would have your stop loss, whatever you wanted to do. Okay. But without having already come in and hit the level of supply, I don't like that. I don't like that right now. It doesn't stick to my rules. Okay. Can't sell from this nothing. You'd want it to happen in the level of supply. Come mitigate these imbalances, right? It didn't even come and touch it on the 15-minute level. Let's look at the hourly real quick. Yeah. I mean, it's either, a very bearish sign that this is going to, just keep on accelerating down, or it's just a little fake out ski that is going to get some shorts in a little too quick and then rip those shorts up, kind of create some forced buying, right? And then allow some sell orders to get filled higher up, right? Because when you force buying, that means that people that want to sell can come in and get in bigger sell orders, right? You have to have buyers to get big sell orders in, right? So either this is a little fake out ski, or it's just a bearish sign that, yeah, this has got some acceleration to it. This has really got some legs, and we front run supply, and we're just going to keep on going down. Okay. Let's jump back into the higher time frame. Just pick up where we left off. Okay. Like I was saying, this kind of needs to be the level. Now, could we come back down and hit below this wick, which, you know, is kind of what this is in play for? I don't have this trade going all the way down here because that's, you know, probably getting greedy. It's getting greedy for a trade standpoint. Because again, everything down here, at least on the hourly time frame and maybe on the 30-minute, same thing. You don't really have another level of imbalance, so you come down here, and that's really getting kind of greedy with it from a trade standpoint. Okay. So could we come back down here, go below this wick we've already made, and come a little bit lower to say, you know, 58, 59? Maybe come clear this imbalance and kiss this and go flirt with, you know, down here a little bit, and then come and do a proper relief rally if that's in the cards for the market. Absolutely. Absolutely could be in play. And that would be in confluence with, you know, coming back down in here and then giving the old 200 week moving average a proper little kissy and then coming back up. So there is some confluence with that. But again, total cap doesn't really have much room to work with. Okay, total cap doesn't really have much room to work with. I would think that this level of demand would need a hold. Because what this tells me that if this level of, supply, I said demand, this level of supply needs to hold. Even coming down and wicking through this is not a good sign to me. And while we could come wick through this and then reverse and then come back down, purely wicking through this level of supply, what that kind of tells me is that, yes, maybe that we get a wick, a sweep, and then it comes back down, but it kind of tells me that it's gonna go below this either way, whether that wicks through and then just keeps on going, or it wicks through, comes back up, and then comes back down. Okay, I don't really want to see that broken on total cap. Sorry, I had a little cough. Had to mute the mic for a sec, but I turned it back on, guys. I turned it back on. I unmuted the mic. Do not worry, it's unmuted. But yeah, that would tell me that either whether it happens right away or we get the relief rally and then it comes back down. If we look through that, I don't really like it. I don't like that look. It doesn't have to, but probabilities would say that you clear this total level of supply, it's going to come look for the next level of supply, whether or not it comes back higher first. Okay. So there's a lot of confluence going on with that of why this level for Bitcoin needs to be the level, you know, barring a little bit of extra action down here, whether that's just barely clearing this wick and coming to the bottom of this zone, say, you know, 59 even, or maybe we just give this a proper clearance, clear out all of this imbalance in here, in this level of consolidation, just totally, you know, clean up here, just get everything nice and tidy here, right? Come take care of this, come down to 57, 56.99, and then give a proper rally. Okay. And that's all to say. None of that has to happen either, right? We could just reverse here. Like I said, once we come and close above this, that's where I see it coming back up to 74, 77, maybe 80K. And once that happens, who knows what's in the cards, right? Like, you have to see what structure says, and once you start clearing these out and then you suck in this liquidity from 80K, like, who knows what's in the cards, bam. Like, now you're looking at, you know, 82, 83, and then, you know, you clear that, and that's just how the market works, right? It's that battle. But obviously this level of battle was right, because look at old girl just wanted to econ down some more. But that's what we're looking at, guys. I mean, like I said, the higher time frames is kind of lining up that this kind of needs to be where, if we're going to do a proper relief rally, this bottom is pretty close to that. Again, not saying I'm a wizard with a crystal ball of the bear market bottom. This is the bottom. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. What I am saying is that if you want to have a proper relief rally that could potentially get us up into the high 70s and maybe go past 80K, this is pretty close to it. This needs to be pretty close to it. Granted, maybe we eke down a little bit lower. Maybe you get a better entry. It could be. Okay. But other than that, we're just seeing what old girl wants to do here. Okay. And that's kind of what the market outlook is right now, right? As long as we're below here, I'm looking to take her down lower. I'm looking to be a part of this coming back down, right? Maybe coming back down and coming back below this wick, maybe touching this. I'm looking to be a part of this until I'm not. And the daily is confluence with that, right? Without this bullish candle and these three following candles, this was a huge level of imbalance. When this bearish candle, right, this impulsive bearish candle closed, left a huge level of imbalance that also had this level of supply that created this move, okay? And this is also confluence, not only to the bearish thesis here, but also to the bullish thesis of coming above here. We close above here, it's going to come up. Because same thing on the daily time frame, we come back above here and we start closing candles above this, but really break the whole level of supplies, which you'd want to see. But this is such a higher time frame, it's hard to gauge that, which is why we utilize lower time frames. But really, you start closing candles back above these wicks, it's saying that this supply is failing. And again, this is all clean right here all the way up until 79K on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, it says that price is clear for launch angle up until these equal highs. And once you hit those equal highs, that's another level of liquidity here. That's either going to be a nice sweeper that gives an entry for a short to come back down, or it's going to take that liquidity and just run off with her. Okay? And you start coming up here, you start freaking those shorts out. And you start shoving shorts back down people's throats. And that's what starts happening. And then you get the opposite, right? The opposite cascade going the opposite way, where you just start eating. But that has a lot of work to do, because right now, old girl's going down. But that's confluence both ways, okay? It's confluence that this is a level of supply, not only on the lower time frames, but on the higher time frames as well, that this is a level of supply with a huge level of imbalance that needed to be cleared before coming back down. And this was the level of supply not only on the daily time frame, but also on this 30-minute time frame that I really zoned in for y'all, really got the perfect entry for y'all. Just kind of lame that this little disgusting little wiki happened. But I had y'all on lock. I got y'all. This is just kind of gross. Don't like it. Should have seen it. I outlined that earlier. Should have seen it. There's that little bit of level right there. It's okay. But yeah, this is confluence both ways, guys. This is confluence both ways. Okay, to the upside, saying, yeah, this is clear. This is clear for launch angle past all of this. Come back up in here, start closing candles back in the supply. Looking like this supply is going to fail. You're good for launch angle all the way up there. Then you start looking at these levels on the higher time frames, right? You wouldn't have a real level of supply until here, which is 81. And really, that's kind of mid-move. This is kind of your real level of supply. The real indecision candle that really created this impulse is all the way back up at 88.7. Goodness gracious. Imagine going back to 90K right now. It's in the cards if we come back above here. It's in the cards. I'm not going to say it's not, because it is. It's in the cards. There's a lot of work to do for that. But that work to do is not out of the cards. It's not out of the cards. But for the time being, we're on the short ski game, and we're looking to take it a little bit lower, and we're going to see what happens right here. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's the market outlook. How long we've been streaming right now? How long we've been going? I don't even know. Do I have anyone viewing right now? Is anyone taking anything away from this? Can anyone throw in a comment? Can anyone throw in a comment? Oh, someone threw in a comment to lower the music. Someone threw in a comment to lower the music. I'll lower the music just now. I think they posted that comment a while ago. But sorry that the music was so loud. I'm just out here vibing. It's also kind of hard for me to tell how loud the music is on the stream. Sorry if that was too loud. I turned it down a little bit. I'm also about those vibes, though. Allie Caven, thank you for telling me the music was too loud. That's the kind of information I need. Allie Caven coming through in the clutch. I need to know when my music's too loud. I need to know when my mic is muted, guys. I need to know when my mic is muted. No, that's all on me. That's totally on me. That's totally on me. That was just a noob mistake. But that's what we're looking at, guys. I am bearish. I am bearish to take the market down, at least until where this trade goes. Maybe lower. Maybe it comes in even lower than that. Maybe this level of supply down here fails. This is a level of supply, though. Y'all see this? This is the ultimate level. Sorry, I said supply. This is the ultimate level of demand. I've been talking so much about supply shorting. This is the ultimate level of demand. Right? Essentially where this wick did, we have this level of imbalance. If you wanted to try and buy, that's not a bad level. Certainly not. And again, we're talking about trade. We're talking about trading. If I reiterate, I think 60K and sub 60K is getting into cheap prices for spot Bitcoin. Okay. Cheap. Okay. Hope the music's not too loud anymore. I'll have to go back and watch the stream and see if I was absolutely blazing music or not. Probably was. I probably was. I'm vibing. I'm vibing a little bit. But that's it, guys. I mean, I'm bearish until we close above here. And we close above here, barring any little fake outs, trickery, whatever the market wants to throw, I would have my bias flipped into we're going to start tackling some of these levels. 74, we tackle that. We're tackling 76, 77. We tackle that. We're going to tackle 78, 79. We tackle that. Then we got these equal highs, and who knows what happens with that. We talked about all that. And again, that's all in confluence with these higher time frame levels we talked about. Okay? It's all in confluence with that. There's not much more to say. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to watch this and see what happens for y'all. But yeah, this is now come down and made another lower low. We could just come back up here and now go back into that level of supply. But keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Like I said, this may just been a front run where this was bearish enough that it's got that much acceleration to it. It's you know, people were willing to come in and just front run the supply, which means it's going to have to come back and get mitigated at some point. Okay. This is TP2 because of this level of demand. This was TP1 because of this very weak level of demand, which you see created a initial reaction before coming through it. I don't just throw in random TP levels. There are very thought out for you guys. I think all this out for you guys. I'm not just doing stupid stuff over here. This is all very well thought out for you. And here we go. Okay. I got y'all. And then same thing down here. You kind of have these stacked levels of demand. Let me pull it up to a 30. You have these stacked levels of demand. I changed this one to Yeller because old Yeller has been mitigated. It's been utilized. It has been utilized. So you would expect that, yes, this is going to cause a reaction more than likely. And maybe this causes a reaction and we get sent back into this level of supply, maybe even higher, right? Maybe this is a good, little trade in itself. Who knows? You'll have to see what happens when it gets there. if it gets there. If it gets there, I should say. But should this break and it comes into this level, we would expect this not to again act as a level of supply. Could it cause a little bit of reaction and cause some turbulence here? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's already been utilized. Got utilized. Okay. And then we further have some more stacked levels of imbalance. And you say, oh, Blue, these ones are overlapping. No, they're not. They're not overlapping. Look at this. And we just talked about this, or if you watched earlier in the stream, if you didn't go back, these little bit of levels of imbalance matter. These little bit of levels of imbalance matter. They're not overlapping. Okay. That said, these are kind of mid impulsive move, and I don't expect these to be great levels of demand, particularly to buy from, but they're there. And I just wanted to take note of them. So essentially what I'm saying is that before this could really get into TP3 or really get into the end of this trade, down here around 60, 65, mid 65s, all the way up to mid 66, really up here to 67. 65 to 67 is going to be some turbulent price action. Okay. To get through here, it's gonna need some work. Okay. So could that be a good level to buy? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. It could be, maybe. Who knows? But like I said, I'm not really, truly turning bullish until we get back above here. Okay. But that to say, this is going to cause some turbulence. This is going to cause some turbulence before we could get down here to some lower levels. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for that. Okay. And outside of that, guys, there's not really much to talk about. We went over everything. It's starting to stall out a little bit here. Kind of getting a little bit indecision candle going right here. Let's pump her back in. I'm gonna call it quits on the stream soon because I've pretty much gone over everything for the time being. Okay. That's pretty much it. Yeah, we came down here. Didn't really get a solid closure down here. At least on the 3-minute. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this could easily just be kind of the little fake, confirmation, change of structure, and then come back into this and really do something, or just come back into this. That fails, we come back and close above here. We're bullish. That's my outlook. Okay. Look for the lower time frame change of structure in this zone. If you do not get that, then I would be looking to limit order this area. You definitely need to clear this level of imbalance. I don't like this level of imbalance in itself for a limit order to surpass this one, because this candle created this move, whereas this candle created this move, which led to this. Okay. But nonetheless, still need to clear it in case old girl wants to come up. Still need to clear it. Clearing all the way up here. Again, barring another wick action that comes up here and wicks this, closing above here, that's to the tune of bullish price action, change of bias coming up higher. Okay. But until then, just look to keep suppressing price. Just look to keep suppressing price down. That's pretty much my stance. Below here, I'll look to keep suppressing it. Above here, looks bullish to me. Looks bullish to me. And that's it, guys. Unless you got some questions in the chat or something, I'm gonna call it a stream on that. If you got some questions afterwards, throw them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. Hop on the Twitter, guys. Hop on the Twitter. Got to get some likes on my post. Got to get some interaction going again. Got to get some interaction going. So hop on there. You got some questions? Shout me out. Got some questions? Throw them in the comments. Like the video. Like the live stream. I'm gonna call it quits there, guys, and I'll keep watching this.